Hello and welcome to my Sunder Build for Gladiator. So, start off with the skills for right now. So for the Ascendancies, it's kind of what I went for. Basically, we're using a shield and an axe. Kind of basic, but gets the job done. So we're going to go for all of the shield talents here. Just make it a little more tanky and deal some extra damage. And instead of going for Outmatch and Outlast, I went for Gracious Violence. Just because of that extra 30% increased damage with hits and ailments against bleeding enemies. This build, you just make them bleed like constantly, so really good against bosses. That's what this build seems to lack, is just speed against bosses. But still pretty good. We excel at farming just giant hordes of monsters, make them explode in a few hits. So I kind of went down, grabbed all the attack speed here just to grab some armor and evasion. Kind of went for the Art of Gladiator just for the extra move speed and a little bit of attack speed and dexterity. Moving along, came down, grabbed these shield nodes here. Came down, grabbed this jewel socket, lots of extra damage. Grab some HP. Of course you have to come down here for this shield, this giant shield nodes here. Really wanted to come up and grab this though, eventually, just for that extra block chance. Really important to have high block with this build or you're just going to die a lot. I only am running about 54% right now without my flask going. About that I get about max. So when I first started this build, I kind of avoided getting lifesteal. It's kind of important later on in the build, so not a must early on, but later on would definitely recommend grabbing this. Kind of got some extra damage here for axes. And kind of move along up here. This is kind of a later on thing, wouldn't recommend getting it earlier on. Just focus more on damage, because you're going to be super tanky if you're just going to go with the shield. So of course, born to fight. Moved along, got these. Thought, why not? Lots of extra damage here. Came along, got Slaughter and Cleaving, got this entire axe node. Tons of damage. More lifesteal for later on. But like I said, the most important thing about this build is chance to block with shields. And lots of life. Unfortunately, I only have 4,200 right now. So a little bit more life leech later on, but... So, there's also another important note up here to grab later on. Gets you some nice, an extra 5% here. But, costs quite a bit to get up here. So, another important main node to get is... hits can't be evaded. But, you know, deal critical strikes. Kind of a good trade-off for this build, because we're not doing crits. And now we don't have to focus on gear that has accuracy on it. I just focus on maxing my resistances, getting tons of HP, and getting armor. So we want to have really good physical damage reduction, because I almost have max out resistances. I'm trying to focus on getting tons of armor. Gonna just make it as tanky as possible. That's kind of the goal of this, just super tanky, hard to kill. And yeah. Really good hardcore character. Haven't tried it out in hardcore yet, but from what I've heard and seen, would definitely recommend. So, it's kind of my build so far. Yeah, not too crazy. Kind of my first video on doing a build, so I can kind of show off my gear and kind of explain what you're going to kind of look for in gear as you're leveling. So I actually still have one of my old axes here. Where are you? Here we go. This only cost me like an alchemy orb. So low gear, low level gear, super cheap. But when you get higher up, you're gonna have to spend a lot on a really nice axe. This is about 20 chaos. So it's about 240 DPS, physical DPS. It's really gonna help your damage. I'm at 62,000 with it. Switching out, I go down to 36,000. It's really important to get a really good axe. If you can get one for cheap, go for it. But I haven't had problem farming with this character. I have a decent amount of currency after buying some really nice gear. So definitely a really good noob-friendly character, though, if you're just getting into the game like I kind of was. So I kind of show off my gear here and kind of what I have my links, I guess. So far I haven't figured out anything to pair with summon Flame Golem. I just summon them. See, my helmet, I have my totem just to kind of help me kill bosses. Does do an extra ton of damage, so 25,000 DPS. When I summon them, it goes up to 30. So not too bad. Plus he increases my damage because of the extra speed. So I have faster attack support, Ancestral Protector, with added fire damage support, and melee physical damage support. Kind of basic. My shield, I have my aura, which is the Warlord's Mark, just to kind of help me, because I run out of mana super quickly with this build, so mostly for mana, but it does help me with leeching to stay alive. If you can find a shield that's really good block, like I found a 30% chance to block with some really good stats on it, unfortunately low armor, definitely get it. This cost me a little bit, but not too much. Rings, probably just go full physical damage rings, really. Try and get as high as possible physical damage rings. Really going to increase your damage, like 59,000. Give me an extra 4,000 DPS. Really going to help. I tried to get a little bit of mana regeneration on them, but of course 6 link. So I went 4 red, 1 green, 1 blue for, of course, Sunder. Added fire damage support, melee physical support, fast attack support, multi-strike support, and concentrated effect support. So you can do a little less AoE on the explosions, but the damage is just insane. Like 63,000 drops down to 41,000. Like, that's insane. 22,000 increase in damage. Really worth grabbing. I was running around with my Rasa, some other character, but I've been running around that since like level 75 until I could afford one of these chests. So you don't need it. Rasa's a really good substitute, and if you can, even a 5 link will do. If you got a 5 link, I would probably drop the... Ooh, that's a tough one actually. I don't know which one to drop here. I'm probably going to say concentrated effect support, because if you don't have a high enough attack speed, it's just not worth it. The DPS isn't worth as much as like multi-strike support or melee physical, added fire damage, or faster attacks. Attack speed's kind of your best friend with this build. Gloves, kind of like getting attack speed on them, as much resistance as you need. Extra stats you might need, because I went with the route where I didn't have to get too much stats, because thanks to my amulet. As soon as I take it off, though, I can't wear any of my gear. Gives me a ton of stats. But in my gauntlets, I have Earthquake, which I'm just leveling up. It's a boss killer for Atziri, I think I pronounce her name. Just killed her about 5 times last night. So you don't want to use Sunder against her. If you hit her mirror form, it'll kill you instantly. So I usually just switch out with Sunder before I go into fight her. And then I have Earthquake, which works really well. So, and DPS is still not too bad. I do pretty well against her, especially with my totem. So that's just there for leveling. You kind of do whatever you want with your gloves there. Still kind of figuring out what I want to do. So increased duration with Veil Grace, of course. Fortify support with shield charge, kind of a must-have. One of the best movement skills in the game right now. Would recommend pairing it with Fortify support. Makes it really, really tanky. Faster attack support with Herald of Ash. Well, that's actually more with the shield charge. That's just there because it gives me tons of extra damage. And it helps with the explosions for clearing. And then my belt. Pretty good belt. So the main thing, like I said, about this build is really focus on your chance to block. And then when I pop my potion, 75% for spells and 71 for just normal attacks. It's going to make you extremely tanky. In the sacrifice though, you lose all your block chance, but if you do pop the potion, you actually do gain what the potion gives you. So unfortunately, it's a little bit useless in there, but I can still do it. I'm probably going to make a video of me just farming some sacrifice and showing you. I'll probably in my next video. I've just been really hard to find at noon right now. Not a lot of people are selling them. But yeah, that's basically the build. Just focus on being tanky, early game damage, late game tanky. And it goes super fast leveling. Just it's fun build. Like I just love watching the things just explode instantly when I hit them with Sunder. Let's see. Oh, this would be perfect. Look at that. That's crazy. You're super, super tanky. So the damage is crazy. The clear speed's amazing. And you don't even have to spend that much on them, really. I just love this character, so I decided to spend about like 100 chaos on my gear. Sorry if the video wasn't super helpful, but kind of new to the game, new to making videos on this content. If you liked the video, please leave a like.